On a rugged cliff overlooking the stormy seas stood an old lighthouse. It had been guiding ships safely to shore for generations, its bright beam cutting through the darkest nights and fiercer storms. The lighthouse was more than just a beacon. It was a symbol of hope and safety for sailors and villagers alike. Inside the lighthouse lived a man named Caleb, who had been his keeper for many years. Caleb was a solitary figure, having lost his wife, Lily, to a sudden illness several years ago. Since then, he had poured all his energy into maintaining the lighthouse, finding comfort in the steady rhythm of his duties. Despite his grief, Caleb made sure the light never dimmed, for he had promised Lily that he would always keep the lighthouse shining, just as their love had always brightened each other's lives. One cold winter evening, as Caleb was tending to the lighthouse's powerful lantern, a knock echoed through the thick wooden door. Surprised since visitors were rare in the stormy season, Caleb opened the door to find a young woman, drenched and shivering, standing in the doorway. Her clothes were torn, and she looked as though she had been through a terrible ordeal. "Please, I need help," the woman said, her voice trembling with cold. "My name is Ava. My ship was wrecked in the storm, and I barely made it to shore." Without hesitation, Caleb welcomed Ava inside, offering her dry clothes and a warm meal. As she sat by the fire, Caleb noticed the sadness in her eyes, a sadness that mirrored his own. Over the next few days, Ava stayed with Caleb in the lighthouse as the storm raged on outside. They spoke little at first, both guarded and haunted by their pasts. But as time passed, they began to open up to each other. Caleb learned that Ava was a traveler, always searching for a place to call home. She had no family left, and the sea had been her only companion for many years. Caleb, in turn, shared the story of his beloved Lily, and how he had vowed to keep the lighthouse shining in her memory. Ava listened with empathy, understanding the depth of his pain. She admired his dedication and the quiet strength that kept him going, even in his darkest moments. One night, as the storm showed no sign of letting up, Ava stood at the top of the lighthouse, watching the waves crash against the cliffs below. Caleb joined her, and together they stared out at the turbulent sea. "Thank you for saving me," Ava said softly. "Not just from the storm, but from the loneliness that's been weighing on my heart." Caleb looked at her, seeing in her eyes a reflection of the longing that had been buried deep within him. "You've brought warmth back into this old lighthouse, Ava, and into my heart." As the days turned into weeks, Ava and Caleb grew closer. They found comfort in each other's presence, a companionship that filled the emptiness they had both carried for so long. The storm eventually passed, but Ava did not leave. She realized that the lighthouse, with its steadfast keeper, had become the home she had been searching for. One evening, as the sun dipped below the horizon, Caleb took Ava's hand and led her to the top of the lighthouse. The light was shining brightly, casting a golden glow over the sea. "Ava," Caleb began, his voice filled with emotion, "this lighthouse has always been a symbol of hope for those lost at sea. And now, it's become a symbol of something more. It's become a symbol of the love and hope you've brought back into my life. I promised Lily I would keep this light shining, but now, I want to share that promise with you. Will you stay with me and keep this light burning together?" Tears filled Ava's eyes as she nodded, overcome with emotion. "Yes, Caleb, I'll stay, and together, we'll keep this light shining." From that day on, Caleb and Ava were inseparable. They tended to the lighthouse together, their love growing stronger with each passing day. The lighthouse, once a place of solitude and grief, became a beacon of love and hope, guiding not only ships but also their hearts through life's storms. Vocabulary 1. Solitary. Alone, without others. Example: Caleb was a solitary figure, living alone in the lighthouse after his wife passed away. 2. Rugged, rough and uneven, often referring to landscapes. Example: the lighthouse stood on a rugged cliff overlooking the stormy seas. 3. Empathy, the ability to understand and share the feelings of another. Example: Ava listened with empathy as Caleb shared his story of loss. 4. Turbulent, characterized by conflict, disorder, or confusion, not calm. Example: the turbulent sea crashed against the cliffs during the storm. 5. Inseparable, unable to be separated, very close. Example: from the day they confessed their feelings, Caleb and Ava were inseparable. Moral: love can be found in the most unexpected places, even in the midst of grief and solitude. When two hearts come together, they can heal old wounds and create a new, hopeful future. Just as the lighthouse guides lost ships safely to shore, love has the power to guide us through life's darkest storms, reminding us that there is always light and hope, even in the darkest times. Thank you for watching and listening. Your support truly means the world to me. I hope you found the content enjoyable and engaging. I'm excited to continue this journey with you and share even more in the future. Your encouragement inspires me to keep creating and improving. Smash that sub button and stick with us for more awesome videos.